John Eats Cheap making a new breakfast favor to Mrs. Cheap and I. She said, you know, usually I make corned beef hash when we have leftover corned beef. And she said, how about some chorizo hash? You know, the spicy Mexican sausage. And we have a place nearby that does burritos that use that. And they're really, really good. So that's what we're going to try today. I got a couple of my baked, then frozen potatoes out. They're thawed out. Got some onion, a jalapeno, some salsa, eggs, cheese, and of course, the star of the show, spicy pork chorizo. So I'm gonna go ahead and brown this up. So I browned up the chorizo. I'm letting it drain because it is very, very greasy. And Mrs. Cheap noted too, and we always notice this, it has its own distinct smell when you cook it. It's kind of like corned beef. It kind of smells like, ooh, is that any good? But it is good. I got my potatoes diced up. So I'm heating up a new skillet here. Of course, we're going with some bacon fat. Get a good chunk of that. And also, I'm gonna do some butter too. Just because bacon fat and butter go so well together when you're browning potatoes. You can see I just chunked those potatoes up. A couple tablespoons of butter there. And the bacon fat. I also diced up the onions and a little bit of jalapeno. I'm going to start with just the potatoes in here. I want them to get a little crispy because the veggies we don't want to cook quite as much as we do the diced potatoes. So in they go. And of course you don't have to use, I used the ones out of the freezer that I had, but you can use fresh. Certainly you could use hash browns. All right, we're going to let those start browning. So I'm going to season them up. I like using Lowry's seasoned salt. Regular salt will work. And some pepper. And then we're just gonna flip them around a little bit. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and add our onions and jalapeno. And then we'll flip them around.
And you didn't add the whole jalapeno. That was a big jalapeno.
It was a huge jalapeno. I just cut maybe an inch slice off of it. And took out the seeds and the membrane because we're not fans of heat. We do love jalapeno flavor. And I know a jalapeno isn't that hot compared to other peppers, but
I'm a wuss.
We're kind of weenies when it comes to heat. All right, we're just gonna let that go and turn the heat up just a little bit more and let that heat up and let those taters brown a little. So we're gonna whip up some eggs for scrambling. And by the way, I got the jumbos. At our store, the jumbos are only 10 cents more than extra large, and they're significantly bigger. I mean, eggs are expensive everywhere, but I'm going with the jumbos for right now. Better deal, it's more egg for your buck. I'm just gonna scramble these. By the way, quick tip, my little bag that the jalapeno came in, you know, from the produce department, that's where I throw the eggshells, the chorizo thing, all my garbage from preparing this meal, and then when I'm done, I'll just tie it up, knot it up, it'll save the smell, in the bag, and throw it away. All right, so the taters are nice and browned up. Now in goes the chorizo. We're just gonna mix that up a little. Get it spread out kind of evenly. And this will put that good flavor into those potatoes too. All right, so that's ready to go. I'm gonna cover it, take it off the heat. The pan will retain that heat because now we're gonna scramble up our eggs. All right, so I melted some butter. See, hash is just back here, just I would say chilling out, but it's warming out. Gonna scramble our eggs. So into the pan, just a skillet with butter. That's all you need to scramble eggs. And this was an idea Mrs. Cheap came up with years ago when we did breakfast burritos. Put the salsa into the eggs and scramble it up that way. And it is tasty. I'm just gonna do, well, I probably better do about 3 tablespoons. Just like that. And we'll save some more to top it if we want. And a little bit of cheese going in there too. Most of the cheese will just go on top in the burrito. Now, let's make some scrambled eggs, low and slow, so they're nice and fluffy. All right, we're all ready. Soften up the tortillas in the microwave. And Take some of the hash. Now, you know what? This is great just like this. And if you want to, you know, plate this with a couple of fried eggs on top or scrambled eggs, you can certainly do that. Now, I tend to overstuff my burritos. That's a problem. So I'm going to try and not do that here. These are nice big shells, though, or tortillas. Get some eggs. A little bit of cheese. Or a lot of cheese if you like. A little bit of salsa. Just drizzle across the top. Add whatever you want. Maybe you want a little sour cream, something like that. Roll this thing up. Now, I am not a good burrito roller, so pardon me here. A little juicy. That would be that salsa. And there you go. Now, you can make a bunch of these, wrap them up in foil, and, you know, just reheat them. Easy. Easy to be made ahead of time if you're doing a bunch of them. But I'm gonna dig right in. That's the goal. As usual, too big a bite. So good though. And as I said, these, wrap them up, eat them during the week, freeze them for later on down the road. Great, different homemade breakfast. Chorizo burritos with John Eats Cheap. Thanks for watching. Follow us on TikTok too. Also Instagram and Facebook. Thanks for watching John Eats Cheap. We are ready for breakfast.